Catch up on all the live shows right here on africatechradio.com.
Someone once said, use your voice for kindness, your ears for compassion, your hands for charity, your mind for truth, and your heart for love. We start with love and end with and in love. That is always my word here too. Welcome. I am Tony and this is my side of tech. I share stories and experiences in the world of technology every weekday from 9 a.m. till midday West African time, while reflecting on what the world celebrates today, World Radio Day. It just hit me that one of the most important tools that I was introduced to when I was still very young was radio. It still remains the most widely consumed medium and a very powerful medium and tool for celebrating humanity in all its diversity, and just constitutes a platform for democratic discourse. I remember right now all the voices I used to hear then and how much they impacted and contributed to my perspectives of different things in life. The ability to reach out the widest audience means, radio can shape a society's experience of diversity. It can stand as an arena for all voices to speak out, be represented and heard, and radio stations should serve diverse communities. It should offer a wide variety of programs, viewpoints, and content, and reflect diversity of audiences in the operations of whatever radio station there is or whatever radio platform there is. Radio continues to be one of the most trusted and most used media in the world, according to different international reports. And I'll be, sharing some thoughts on these and how radio has maybe also moved, to like the online radio, which we are operating now. Though we still partner with contemporary FM radio stations, it's just still radio. It is what it is. Share your experiences with me. Radio experience. First time, most memorable radio experience with me on WhatsApp. You can text or send me a voice note on 0913-558-1766. If you're texting from outside Nigeria, please add +234. Today, as we begin the week on a very, very, very good, happy, inspirational and motivational mood. It's a good time to be alive, trust me, because a lot more people are dead and a lot more people do not have the opportunities that we have to still make efforts and change things. Success, I say, is the sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out, every day. That is what success really is. I'm on the radio and I'm waiting for your feedback. Let's get started. Welcome to Tony's Tech Side. Welcome to Africa Tech Radio. Yes. Let's dig deep into the rubbles of history. Don't feel like you already know it all. Come on, you just heard. Don't act like you already know it all. So when we dig deep into the rubbles of history, we take a look at the past and use it as a model to make a better future, not even a better present, because we are already living in the present. Today, in 1895, the Lumiere brothers, and Lumiere means light, Auguste Marie Louis Nicolas and Louis Jean patented their Cinematograph. It's one of the earliest motion picture projectors. This tool served as a film camera and developer, making it one of the first all-in-one devices, beating HP by about 100 years. Now, these brothers were French manufacturers of photography equipment. What is this cinematograph? It's an early term used for several types of motion picture film mechanisms. Now, the name was used for movie cameras as well as film projectors, or for complete systems that also provided means to print the films, like you have photographs here. A device by this name was invented and patented as the cinematograph by Léon Boly, a French inventor. He was the one who coined the name cinematograph from the Greek writing in movement. I don't know why they thought about writing in movement, not speaking in movement. I don't know. Due to a lack of money, Boly could not develop his ideas properly and maintain his patent fees. So the Lumiere brothers were free to adopt the name. And in 1895, they applied it to a device that was mostly their own invention. They made the first film, workers leaving the Lumiere factory, that same year. I've seen that video. It doesn't have sound, but God, it was good. So you just had people coming out of a factory, literally just a video, literally, and then it was mind blowing. But now everyone can just switch on their phones. I wanted to even say cameras, but their phones, right? You have like your digital cameras and everything, but you can just use your phone to do the same, make the same video they made over 100 years ago right now. Together, Louis and Auguste, the brothers, worked to create a motion picture camera that's superior to Thomas Edison's Cinematograph, which did not have a projector then. They endeavored to correct the flaws that they saw in the Cinematograph and Kinetoscope, and they developed a machine with both sharper images and better lighting illumination. This also weighed just about 7.3 kg, which allowed for ease of transportation and for placement. And it was also manually operated as opposed to Thomas Edison's electrically powered camera, which, by the way, wasn't very portable. Asides this, while only one person at a time could use Edison's kinetoscope for viewing through an eyepiece, just like an early model of a viewfinder, the cinematograph by the Lumiere brothers could project an image onto a screen so that a large audience of people could view images simultaneously. So you see, all of these things we have seen or we're seeing now were all products of this first invention or this first move by the Lumiere brothers, and I'm talking the patenting of the cinematograph. After the success of the initial public screening in 1895, the cinematograph became a popular attraction for people all over the world. You would not imagine these brothers took their machine to China and India, and was enjoyed by people of all classes and social standing because, of course, you could have a lot of people view pictures, moving pictures, at just one time or in one time. And the cinematograph was used to show films in Nickelodeons, yes, where even the poorest classes could pay the entry fee. Remember that I said it produced a sharper projected image than had been seen before its time due to the design. So there was a fork-held frame behind the lens in place using the perforations in the sides of the film strip. The brothers also added to this invention by using a glass flask of water as the condenser to concentrate the light onto the film frame and to absorb heat. The flask acted as a safety feature as the lights would no longer focus on a flammable film if the glass were to break due to overheating or accident. And in a minute when I return, I'll talk about World Radio Day and how radio kind of influenced me to do radio right now. Irawo Cheishe, everyone truly is a star. Today in the year 2011, the World Radio Day was proclaimed by members of UNESCO and adopted by the United Nations General Assembly the following year, 2012. February 13 became World Radio Day today. Now, I just decided to look through to find stats that had to do with audio content online, and with what I'm saying here, it's classified to like music streaming services, online radio shows or stations, listening to podcasts, listening to audiobooks. This is like audio content. And for online radio shows or stations, we're looking at 21.9%. That's percentage of internet users aged 16 to 64 who listen to this particular content via the internet every week. 21% of internet users aged 16 to 64 listen to online radio shows or online radio stations. Radio has proven to be the most trusted and widely consumed form of content anywhere at all, and it has made and it has marred people, organizations, groups, ideologies, perspectives, and it continues to be a tool that can be used to unite, a tool that can be used to propagate, and a tool that can be used to educate. There are several benefits of doing a podcast because yesterday, also February 12, marked as Africa Podcast Day. So I will just talk about a few tips that podcasters can learn from, or reasons why a podcast may fail, and maybe how to avoid your newly started podcast from failing, because I know a lot of people now on the continent are going into the production and distribution of podcasts. So you'll be much more discoverable in search engines like Google and YouTube if you actually, do a video podcast too. Audio podcast, yes, very well. You'll be able to build yourself as an authority in your niche if you have niche. You'll be able to create additional lines of revenue by monetizing your content. These are just a few of the benefits of running a podcast. And for things you should look out for, lack of focus. That's the first one. Usually people think that it's just easy. Oh, I'm starting a podcast. I always hear that, Tony, I'm starting a podcast. I'm like, oh yeah, that's really beautiful. Okay, so what's the podcast going to be about? And they're like, we're just gonna talk. I'm like, okay, but don't you think there are like 1,000,001 people who are just talking? No one wants to just hear you talk about random topics and not anything at all, right? Your job is to try to advance a particular mission, create an audience around yourself, or for your podcast, increase the knowledge around a particular area. As a podcaster, try your best to stay true to your topic. If you're doing food, food. You can have influences, right? Like things, country and food, people and food, events and food, themes and food, times and seasons and food. But just stay focused on connecting that purpose to the purpose of whoever you plan to meet, right? It'll be easy for you if you understand who the people you want to listen to your podcast are and what motivates them to listen. It'll be difficult if you don't know your customer, your listener, right? If you can't be all things to all people. You can't be a news, a skit, a video, an audio, sports, environment. You can't be everything on that your one podcast that drops every week to everybody, right? You can say, oh, you're just talking popular things. So you're saying, okay, so how are you talking popular things? Are you restricting it to geography? Are you saying you're dealing with the whole continent, the world, your own specific community? You create value when you stay focused on your niche, like in your space, in your topic. So everyone literally, when they need anything within that space, even if they don't listen to you before, they will come to you. Then the other thing is lack of quality. And quality, host, persons as guests, if you're going to have guests, and also quality of the audio and the video. Poor audio quality is a distraction big time, and it will just mean that people would tune out or tune off much more often than they would tune in. And when they tune in, they would most likely want to tune out. There is no winning with poor quality. Once you've planned to produce a good quality show, you can place your focus on the quality of your conversation, then your topics, and then how you present and how you implement. Yeah. Also, if this is just something just to add to it, if you're going to be the host, you don't expect to start on the first day and just going to be like an all-star winning host. Yeah. So the best podcast hosts have developed their talent over the years. They didn't just start out and be winning podcast hosts, right? They most likely started out as bad as you did. Most people don't like to tell you the backstories, but they did. If you ask them, you would know. And everything worth doing takes practice and time. Practice makes perfect. Then something else to consider is podcasting is a lot of work. And this work happens week in, week out for those who drop their things week in, week out. For those who do it once in a month, for those who do it every day, it's a lot of work. If you're going to be producing a daily or weekly show, then you have to know that you can't just take a day off, or you can't just take a week off. You have to be consistent if you want to really be successful at it. And your expectation of success should also be broken down into steps and stages, right? The moment you disappear on your listeners will disappear on you in the long run. You also need to honor your commitment. It's really, really important. See, podcasting isn't for everyone. You have to be willing to execute day in and day out. Are you really prepared to put in the work? Writing your show notes, uploading the audio or the video formats across the internet, creating a website for your archives, doing social media promotions, dropping maybe audio video teasers on episodes that you're working on or your best episodes or something, creating graphics for your show, scheduling guests, recording itself, post-production and everything that goes into it, and even the things I cannot remember to mention right here. And then I think something else that's really important aside execution is distribution. See, there are over 60 hours of video uploaded every 60 seconds to YouTube. You're not the only one in this content business. The internet is already full. So just like I said before, you have to start with a niche. That's the first thing. Focus, man. Focus on me. Focus on me. What's your focus, right? And then it takes you all the way down to the second thing I said and the third thing I said, which is, the quality of the sound, quality of presentation, quality of guest, quality of host, execution, audio and video quality if you're going to be doing video, then execution, how are you going to be executing it? And then before you now think of distribution. Yeah, really, really important. If you don't plan to put out your podcast in all the places where your listeners are and place your podcast where these people are readily available to listen to, then it's just going to be issue. Distribution is key to a successful podcast. You need to figure it out, and there is no fast way to do it, right? There is no corner way to do it. You just have to do it right. And taking us back to the theme for World Radio Day today, which is the 12th edition, radio and peace. I've noticed now that there's a lot happening in the world. There's a lot happening on the continent too, from drought to insecurity to electricity issues to climate and environmental issues. A lot of things that happen. Since wars begin in the minds of men, since evil, insecurity, all of these things begin in the minds of men, it is in the minds of men also that the defenses of peace must be constructed. Today, it is true that TV gives everyone an image, but radio gives birth to 1 million images in 1 million brains. So I speak to all those who are creating audio content on radio, across any platform at all, audio content, and all those who have put in the years, who have put in the work, efforts into making radio what it is, what it was, and what it is, and what it will be. Let's create images of peace in people's brains. Elections are coming in Nigeria. How exactly are you selling these perspectives of the content, and how are you telling the different stories that are to be told? Let's tell stories of peace. Let's tell stories of progress, growth, and development. This is Tony's Tech Side. Well, with all the talk that we had last week about ChatGPT, Bard, Google's mistake, AI-powered Bing, and Edge browser, I think it's important that as we're all talking about AI, the rise of AI technologies, the rise of them, we should also consider responsible AI. What does that mean? Okay, let me help you out. Today on Tech Word of the Day, our word is responsible AI, RAI. Responsible artificial intelligence. This is the development and the use of artificial intelligence in a way that is ethically and socially trustworthy. Legal accountability is an important factor that drives responsible AI initiatives. Now, it's important to legally protect the rights and privacy of individuals, especially as artificial intelligence systems are increasingly being used to make decisions that directly affect the lives of people. It is also important to protect the developers and organizations who are building, who are designing, and also developing AI systems. The principles and best practices of responsible AI are designed to help both consumers and producers mitigate the negative financial, reputational, and ethical risks that black box AI and machine bias can introduce. Now, there are several key principles that organizations working with AI should follow to ensure that their technology is being developed and used in a socially responsible manner. First is fairness. Now, an AI system should not increase or perpetuate existing biases or discrimination and should be designed to treat all individuals and demographic groups fairly. For example, white and black. I know that when the design and development of phone cameras, for example, started, we found out that there was some bias and discrimination to the dark-colored skin. I can't place my fingers on my hand right now on exact examples, but that had to be looked into. You'd find out that, in quotes, the lighter skin glowed or looked a lot more beautiful or fancier than the dark skin or darker skin when captured on camera, because not because they intentionally did it that way, but because most of the skin types that they used to check the camera when the camera was being worked on, when the camera was being developed, were all or almost all lighter skins. So right now they are trying to ensure that when developing cameras, you see they're saying, oh, we're looking for darker skinned persons so that we can ensure that their skin tone is well taken care of when it comes to that's lighting and how it is being captured on cameras and phones. So that's like one example. Now the second one is transparency. An AI system should be understandable and explainable. Note, understandable and explainable to both the people who use them and the people who are impacted by them. AI developers should also be transparent about how the data used to train their AI system is collected, stored, and used. Let me give you an example. For an AI system to be able to answer your question, they need to feed it with questions and answers, right? So what kind of questions and answers are they feeding it like a child for it to be able to give you the responses and the feedback that you need when you actually ask questions? And then how diverse are the information blocks or pieces that they're giving to the AI system or technology? It's really, really important. AI systems should be designed and used in a way that does not cause harm also. It's really important. Organizations, individuals developing and using AI should be accountable for the decisions and the actions that the technology takes. And every AI system should be designed to enable human oversight and intervention when necessary. There was a movie I watched late last year, and it was about a house that was AI. So the house would literally do anything and everything for you without any human oversight. For now, I don't think we're there yet, right? Because no matter how advanced the technology is, there should be human supervision, human oversight, and intervention when necessary. And then the final one is continuous improvement. Responsible AI requires ongoing monitoring to ensure outputs are continuously aligned with ethical AI principles and societal values. Responsible AI is about ensuring that the risks and unintended consequences associated with AI are identified and managed so that AI is used in the best interest of the society. Now, this links to the reports that Africa Tech Radio is currently working on and would be published soon, which is on artificial intelligence and human rights in Africa. It's the first of its kind, the first time it's happening, and we need to start having these discussions. As time goes on, we'll keep briefing you, we'll give you, details of what it is, what it's about. We'll probably do Twitter Spaces and have a webinar, but we'll keep you up to date as far as you are following us at ATech Radio on Instagram and Africa Tech Radio on Twitter and on Facebook. And if you're on LinkedIn, so just search for Mankind and Artificial Intelligence. There's a lot more coming up. You have no idea the amount of development and the amount of growth that would happen in the next few years. Rexy, Mobad will give you an idea. KPK, that's exactly. You have no idea, bro. Okay, so lots of things are happening, and one of the things that everybody's doing now is the AI thing. That's exactly what is in vogue now. Yes? Opera Mini will be adding the ChatGPT as a thing to their sidebar, and they're already building the ChatGPT part 2 to the sidebar of Opera. And if you have Opera is the browser. If you have Opera Mini, the browser too. The feature is called Shorten, and Shorten, like SHORTEN, is part of the company's broader plans to integrate AI tools into its browser. It is similar to what Microsoft is doing with the Edge. The Edge browser is Microsoft's. And as shown in a demo included in Opera's blog post, you can activate the feature by selecting the Shorten button to the right of the address bar. From there, a sidebar with ChatGPT will pop out from the left, which will then generate a neat bulleted summary of the article or the web page that you are looking at. This announcement comes just days after Microsoft revealed the AI-powered Bing and Edge. While the company's search engine will offer access to an AI chatbot that provides annotated answers to queries, Edge will come with an AI co-pilot that can seamlessly summarize web pages or articles, as well as generate text for social media posts and more. Google also showed off, its AI search bot Bard earlier this week, although it's not available for users to demo just yet. And it also came with some backlash because they felt like Google's CEO Sundar Pichai rushed into that demo, and there were some issues with it, which most seen is the wrong answer to one of the questions factually that was used in the demo of Bard. The shorten feature by Opera isn't available to everyone just yet though. The Vice President of Marketing and Communications at Opera, Jan Standel, told The Verge that it's going to launch in browsers very soon, and they're also working on other AI-powered features that augment the browsing experience and plans, and they have plans on adding popular AI-generated content services to their sidebar, which I have just spoken about. It's not clear yet what this could entail, but the prospects of this generally improving a lot of things is what is heartwarming and is what is really important. Now, there's a certain backlash that those staff at Google are sending the way of the CEO, and for me, I just think two wrongs will not make it right at all, right? So if the CEO rushed everyone at Google into the demo and then there were issues on demo day, then you guys should have just said, you know what, we really cannot do this. We really cannot demo or do the demonstration on this particular day, and let loose, and let everyone know that, oh yes, we couldn't do it. But for now, it's already live, it's public, right? There's nothing you can do right now. There's no need shifting blame or spreading blame. All that's just supposed to be done now is fixing that issue and bringing out something else that is way much more better than what Microsoft has done. Let the AI wars continue, guys. I'm here for violence. Okay, I'm here for peace. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I just said I'm a preacher of peace and love. So I wanted to say I'm here for violence, no peace, no love. But no, we preach love here, and that's how it will continue. So all good, one love, two wrongs don't make it right. Google, let's learn, let's get back into the game. It's not going to be fun if we just have one person, Microsoft, going ahead in this AI thing. So please, let's equal things up and let's get the party started. So how loyal will students be with this new policy? The Makerere University graduation has said that both parents and graduating students should not come carrying cell phones and cameras to the 73rd Makerere University graduation. In other words, those looking to take selfies or those looking to go live on social media will have to hold on and do that when they go back home. Also, canned foods, drinks, and backpacks are also banned from the ceremony, in which graduating students are only allowed 2 guests. How loyal will people stay to this? How do they wish to implement this? And there are a lot of questions in my head, but in this age and time, they didn't really say why they decided to put this under banned items. But we just noticed that aside from canned foods and drinks and backpacks, cell phones and cameras also made the list of banned things. We look forward to seeing over how they manage the over 1,000 graduating students and their parents, or rather 2 allowed guests, which makes it say 1,000. And if 2 people bring 1,000 each, we're talking 2 times 1,000 in addition to the 1,000. That's about 3,000 plus people. So they're looking to having almost 4K number of people, and they're saying cell phones and cameras are one of the things that are on the list of banned things. I intend to see a lot of videos Okay, I will not say anything more than that. Let's all try to be loyal to what they all said, and let's hope for the best. Airtel Africa also has announced that it has acquired 5G spectrum in Kenya, Tanzania, Nigeria, and Zambia, meaning that Airtel Africa now has the capacity to offer high-speed internet to customers who need faster speeds beyond what 5G offers. And this is big also because in Nigeria it's just MTN and the other company, just two companies in Nigeria who for now offer 5G services. And if Airtel Africa has gotten spectrum license, then it's really good. And Kenya will be rolling out very soon, according to what Airtel Africa has said. So we're looking forward to Kenya 5G services by Airtel Africa in Kenya in 2023, and then Tanzania, Nigeria, and Zambia roll out maybe later on in 2023. Now, talking about Nigeria, mobile transactions worth 2.37 trillion naira is what Nigerians did in January 2023. A lot of people think that this number, which represented 125% increase over the same period in the year 2022, is because of the ongoing cash shortage. But I would want to let you know that also just in December 2022, it did 2.48 trillion in mobile transactions. That's how much Nigerians transacted. The amount of money that went around in Nigeria through mobile transactions, 2.48 trillion naira, and it's the highest in record so far, any mobile transaction number done in Nigeria. It should be noted that December is, a month known for higher spending due to Christmas and New Year celebrations in most parts of the country. And also transaction volume and value have surged over 50% and 18% respectively since the announcements to introduce the new Naira notes. And volume and value was 709 billion and 2 trillion naira at the end of October 2022. So is Nigeria really going cashless? These figures I've just read out to you is from a recent data from the Nigeria Interbank Settlement Systems, the NIBSS. The volume of transactions in the largest African economy increased by 55% from last year to this year. And it's really, really good, right? It is good. While we are pushing people to go cashless, the cashless economy, we should ensure that the people who are underserved and those who we qualify as not having the infrastructure to be online and engage in mobile transactions, according to what they call them, these people are the people that are the unbanked. Let's all try also, as we're making efforts to move those who are banked to the cashless economy, let's ensure that we're moving the banked to either the banked or we're taking care of them properly, because that's the only way that we can have inclusion financially and everybody can move from one level to the other. Poverty rates, according to stats, Nigeria is a poverty capital. But then these transaction numbers and stats keeps increasing. Let's ensure that we're carrying everyone along as we're doing this. Yeah, anything can happen. Anything can be achieved if we put our mind to it. Okay, so we're wrapping up with the last set of juiciest tech stories to binge on as we start the week. And the first in the last set of three would be gaming startup Carry First acquiring mobile board game Gebeta. The amount for this transaction so far is undisclosed, but this acquisition is happening at a time when Africa's mobile gaming industry is experiencing mobile growth, like big growth. And talking about this, the Iwaju story, which has Kugali Media and Disney. Yes, the Disney you know of, in that partnership to ensure that the Iwaju story goes global. That is one. That's a big one. Last week, there was also another one happening where two powerhouses in the gaming and animation industry also came together. And a lot is happening. Gebeta is a mobile board game that is based on the principles of Mankala games, but with increased engagement. It was launched in 2019 and quickly gained popularity due to the great visuals, that the game has. The game was a standout among others, and it won the 2020 Apps Africa Best App for the year. And in November 2020, Carry first entered a global multi-year partnership with Ethiopian-based developer Gene Games to publish Gebeta. Now, Carry first plans to increase the resources dedicated to developing Gebeta and prepare it for a global launch. And talking of something that's also really important, MasterCard recently announced that it is working and partnering. This is another partnership too with Network International, the lending enabler of digital commerce across the Middle East and Africa, which is called MENA, MENA, to address fraud, declines, and chargebacks in order to reduce the cost and risk for acquirers. Now, I know this has happened a lot within the last 3 weeks in Nigeria, where you use your card and it gets declined because of the many issues Nigeria's had with the Naira redesign, and clamp down on whether the date, whether something is happening now, it's not happening now. And till now, a lot of people are still in limbo. They're not sure if they should accept old Naira notes or they should, accept the redesigned notes or only take redesigned notes. I was at the gas station, and I think over the weekend, and the gas station with their full chest were saying, we do not collect old Naira notes. We do not collect old Naira notes, only new Naira notes, or you use our POS. And I saw a lot of people who their cards got declined, and someone came and the person said, last week I've come to confirm if you guys are really serious, because last week I used the POS, I got debited until today, and this was like 1 week interval. The person, as at that time, had not gotten and nothing, and banks were not open, so she couldn't go into lay a complaint or anything. So she was just literally in limbo. She was pissed, right? So they had to beg her, like, oh no, everything is fine now, it's better off now. So with this partnership, things like declines, things like use of cards when you're not there, fraud with future cards, and chargebacks would most likely either be eliminated or be reduced. Now, Network will launch MasterCard's Brighterion artificial intelligence across the region, providing transaction fraud screening and merchant monitoring to acquirers and to business. This will be really good, and this is really big, and that's why it's important for partnerships like this to continue to happen. Now to the last news before I get out of here. AsyariLabs' first proprietary nanosat satellite hardware has gone to space. Now, AsyariLabs has joined the ranks of African satellite component manufacturers with certified space hardware by integrating its first proprietary nanosatellite hardware, the SPP board, on the Antares Janus 1. The SPP board is wholly manufactured in Kenya. Totally everything, the whole component, the whole nanosatellite component hardware is manufactured in Kenya, and it's a communication board that provides, among other things, mission data downlink dissemination to the ground station. In addition, it ensures that the satellite is in constant communication with the ground stations that control the satellite and also deliver the data that the mission requires. Now, this satellite was launched aboard the Indian Space Research Organization's second developmental flight of the small satellite launch vehicle. The story, the cocoa of this thing is that Africans are doing a lot more when it comes to going to space and when it comes to working and manufacturing the components that actually help people go to space. That is the cocoa of this thing, what we have just shared here. And it's really, really good, I must say, that we're taking this step. And I must say thank you to everyone who tuned in, who keeps on tuning in. For those who had some rest, and for those who have no idea what the weekend was or what the weekend felt like, let's all be grateful for small mercies, yeah? For the fact that you're alive is one big thing to be happy about. And as we celebrate World Radio Day today and World Africa Podcast Day, honestly, it's a new day. It's a new week to find happiness. Let's focus less on what we want and rather focus more on what we have, and use what we have, which is our voices, to create the peace and the calm and the development that we want in the world. Chike Mukoma, that's actually how I end. Everyone can be good the way they are right now. Don't wait for tomorrow, guys. Let it be today. This is Tony's Tech Side. Thank you for staying tuned.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to catch up on all the live shows right here on africatechradio.com.